You're not prone to see a more legitimately irate film this year than Athena, a constant creation looking at the bigotry, disparity, and police viciousness that unleash destruction on France's banlieue networks of variety. That unmistakable fierceness seeps through the movie's initial grouping, one that Chief Romain Gavras shoots in an articulated single take that stresses its great craftsmanship, maybe excessively uproariously. But mostly for good reason, as this sequence is simply one of the most challenging single takes we have seen in cinema recently, even when the technique is more accessible to filmmakers of all stripes these days, and emerged in mainstream TV discussions as of late, thanks to that crazy one-shot episode 7 of the wildly popular The Bear. So let's break it down, shall we? First, there is the murmur of the news reports in the background, helping us pick up on the fact that police violence has been on the rise. Then we see the defined face of Abdel Dali Bensala, a French soldier freshly returned from serving in Mali, and brother of the 13-year-old Idil who had just fallen victim to one such senseless instance of cop killing. There is undeniable grief in Abdel's stance, and he does want justice. But the military officer keeps it cool all the same, inviting his community surrounding a police station to follow his example. You're not liable to see, and all the more legitimately angry the camera doesn't intrude on the development and finds in the group Abdel's sibling Karim, Sami Slimane, a singing presence in his screen debut. His eyes igniting with fury, and his stance restless, he illuminates and tosses a Molotov mixed drink towards the entryway, beginning a very much arranged revolt in the midst of a rampaging swarm. Through that, and a staggering activity succession of smoke-filled turmoil that follows, Karim and the non-conformists assume command over the area as well as a robust inventory of firearms, with cinematographer Meshas Boucard's unfazed and coordinated camera following them to their lodging project, Athena, a spot these progressives gladly venerate regardless of anything else, standing tall on its edges. Truth be told, Serkin's pulsating score that spreads itself over this sequence, and many other similarly impressive ones thereafter, is big and exhausting. The dynamic between the music and visuals is one that brings to mind Hans Zimmer's occasional overindulgence when composing for Christopher Nolan, competing against the magnitude of the filmmaker's already grand images, instead of amplifying them. But apart from that, Athena, a Greek tragedy constructed by the son of Costagras with recognizable hints of Sid, immensely satisfies as a fast-moving political thriller and urban drama that feels genuinely cinematic, with technical finesse to spare. Still, the film that essentially follows the late Idil's three disparate brothers is more emotionally gripping in its rare moments that focus on small and quiet gestures and undercurrents. A realistically rendered and recited Islamic funeral prayer comes to mind, one that simmers with pain and familial grudges. Elsewhere, the third brother, Mokhtar, Ursini Emberek, gives Athena one of its more challenging and narratively tricky storylines, being the sibling who's found a way to line his pockets in the midst of all the injustice his people are subjected to. Running a drug operation out of Athena, Mokhtar's primary interest happens to be his own survival, and he's not afraid to go to dubious lengths for it. The astute and immersive script, written by Gavras, Elias Belkedar, and Ladja Elvai of the similarly themed Les Miserables, sees the brothers as representative pillars of the different ways immigrants and marginalized communities take on systems of power that are not designed for them to succeed. Abdel is something closer to a both sides IST, believing that there could be a harmonious way for the opposing ends to come together. Mokhtar is the opportunist, one who can look at a broken hole, see its cracks, and muscle his way into those fault lines for financial gain and clout. Karim, on the other hand, is a young and scorching all-or-nothing radical, one who believes the system can't be fair for anyone until it's made to collapse and radically rebuild. While a portion of these battles are well defined for the French people group the film follows, they are likewise general, with late repeats profoundly natural here in the US. Furthermore, in spite of an ethically vague splitting note, Athena sharply draws in with these fights, notwithstanding a bold style that on occasion overwhelms them.